Okay, so have you ever like been learning something new
Uh-huh.
and it just feels like you're spinning your wheels, you're
Mm.
putting in all this effort, but you're not really making any progress?
Yeah.
It's like almost like the wheels are about to come off.
Totally. Like you're getting nowhere fast.
Exactly. And it turns out there's actually a concept for this, and it's called alignment.
Oh, really?
So I'm excited to jump into this today
Yeah, this is a good one.
with you.
Mm.
And we're going to be talking about this concept of alignment in learning and how to make sure that everything is, working together smoothly.
Yeah, making sure your wheels are aligned for optimal performance.
Exactly. And to help us kind of unpack all of this, we're going to be taking a deep dive into this book called
Alignment, the key to success.
Yes.
That's the one.
So I'm curious, what is this whole alignment thing all about in the context of learning?
So you know how you were talking about those wheels coming off the car?
Yeah.
Like wobbling and stuff?
Yeah, feeling unstable.
Yeah. So the book uses this analogy of a car to illustrate the idea of alignment and learning.
Okay.
And basically it says that when your learning experience is misaligned, it can feel just as bumpy and unstable as driving a car with bad alignment.
So it's like everything's kind of working against each other instead of working together.
Exactly, and it's frustrating, right?
Yeah, totally. And I know one of the big things that the book talks about is this idea of starting with objectives.
Yes, objectives first.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so this is kind of a counterintuitive idea, but it's all about figuring out what you want to be able to do
Okay.
after the learning experience. Like, what are the tangible skills or knowledge you want to walk away with?
So before I even start reading a book or watching a course or whatever it is, I need to know exactly what I want to get out of it.
Exactly. And it might seem backwards, but trust me, it makes the whole process so much more efficient.
Okay, so I guess I'm kind of used to, just kind of diving in and exploring and see where things take me.
Yeah. And exploration is great.
Yeah.
But when you have a specific goal in mind,
Right.
being clear about your objective from the start can really help you avoid feeling overwhelmed by information overload.
Yeah.
It's like having a roadmap for your learning journey.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how this whole objective thing can be helpful, but then how do we go from like setting those objectives to actually like choosing the right activities and things to do?
So that's where William Horton's work comes in.
Okay.
He outlines 3 main types of activities, and these are absorb,
Yeah.
do, and connect.
So like absorb meaning taking in the information.
Exactly.
Okay.
Reading a book, watching a lecture, listening to a podcast.
Okay, cool. And then what about do?
Do is where you actually put that knowledge into practice.
Okay.
So this could involve things like, doing a simulation, working on a case study, even teaching someone else what you've learned.
Oh, okay. So it's not enough to just like passively absorb the information.
Right.
You have to actually do something with it.
Exactly. You got to get your hands dirty.
Okay, and then connect.
Connect is all about making those aha moments. It's about seeing the bigger picture, understanding how everything fits together and how it applies to different situations.
Okay, so it's like taking those different pieces of information and actually like integrating them into your understanding.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. And the source also mentioned something really interesting about activities and assessments.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
It points out that activities can also be assessments and vice versa.
Wait, really?
Yeah, think about a complex coding project, for example.
Okay.
You're putting your knowledge into practice, which is an activity, but you're also demonstrating your understanding, which is an assessment.
Oh, okay. So it's like they're kind of intertwined.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's a cool way to think about it, like making learning more engaging and kind of breaking down those traditional barriers between like learning and testing.
Yeah.
But with all of this, I'm wondering, how do we actually make sure that the activities we're choosing are truly aligned with those objectives that we set at the beginning?
So the book mentions something called the magic triangle.
Okay, the magic triangle.
Yeah, and it's a way to visualize this connection between objectives, activities, and assessments.
Okay.
Picture this. You have the objectives at the top of the triangle, activities and assessments at the bottom corners, and each side of the triangle represents a relationship.
Okay.
And these relationships need to be strong. If any side is weak, the whole structure collapses.
Oh, wow. So that's like a really powerful visual.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see a diagram of this magic triangle now.
Yeah, it's a really helpful tool.
And I have to check that out. And then the book also mentioned Will Thalheimer's research on objectives.
Yes. Thalheimer is a big name in the learning and development world.
Okay.
And his research has shown that well-defined objectives can actually double learning effectiveness.
Wow, double.
Yeah.
That's significant.
And one of his key findings is that objectives should focus on observable behaviors.
Okay, so instead of just saying like understand X, it's more about like be able to explain X to a colleague or apply X to solve problem Y.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's more action-oriented.
Correct.
Okay, so what does all this mean for us as learners?
Well, it means we have more control over our learning journey than we might think.
Okay.
By starting with clear objectives and intentionally choosing aligned activities, we can make learning so much more efficient and effective.
So it's about being intentional and strategic.
Yes, and instead of just passively absorbing information, we become active architects of our own learning experiences.
That is such a powerful thought. So for all of you listening out there, here's something to ponder. How can you apply this alignment framework to something you're currently trying to learn? Could defining clear objectives help you choose resources and activities more strategically? Imagine a world where every learning experience was designed this way. We could all become more efficient and effective learners, reaching our goals faster and with less frustration.
I love that vision, a world of perfectly aligned learning experiences.
That would be amazing.
It would be a game changer.
Well, thank you so much for diving into this topic with me today. I think this is something that we can all benefit from thinking about and applying in our own lives.
It was my pleasure.
And for everyone listening, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this concept of alignment and learning.
Yeah, how are you applying this in your own life?
Head over to our website or social media and let us know.
Looking forward to hearing from you.
Until next time, happy learning.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.